Leading the way on air, online, and on the go. From WLWT, this is Issues.
Hello, I'm Jan-Michele Lemon Kearney of SESH Communications and the Cincinnati Herald. We have a lot to talk about today. We're going to make this our health edition. We're going to talk about really important topics to get you and keep you healthy. So a little later, we're going to talk to Dr. Ahmad Attar and Dr. Keith Hollywood Melvin. So you definitely want to stay tuned for them. First, I want to introduce you to Idris Gray, and because of Idris Elba, I want to call you like the Hollywood star Idris, but it's Idris Gray.
Yes.
And you have started a group called Progression Works, a company. So, and let's just back up a little bit, because I know you just did a health expo, and you've got another event coming up next month.
Yes.
But you've been on quite a journey here, starting with acute kidney failure. Tell us about your health, because you look great.
Thank you. Thank you.
So yeah, tell us like what's been going on.
Well, to just make it a brief story, at age 16, I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. Now, that's usually a disease set aside for adult onset, but because of my sedentary lifestyle and poor eating habits, I was diagnosed at such a young age.
So, I mean, you weren't playing sports or anything? Because you look like an athlete.
Well, I played football in high school, but, I was a bigger football player, so it really wasn't, that much, exercise going on with my particular position.
Okay.
But so
you just had to stand there and like
pretty much just block,
intimidate people.
Right.
Okay.
So essentially after high school, I graduated, went to the Ohio State University. I have a degree in history.
Fantastic.
And
you're a teacher, right? You started teaching school?
Yes, definitely. So in 2009, however, after I moved back home from Columbus, Ohio, I just wasn't feeling right. There were symptoms of me swelling, me being fatigued, just something I knew was wrong. So in June of 2009, I was rushed to the hospital by my brother, and they gave me the diagnosis of having acute kidney failure.
Wow.
Yeah, it was it just turned my life into a 180. I was planning on receiving my master's in education, so it just kind of turned my life into shambles at that point.
That's hard to hear.
Yeah. So in those years following, I experienced diabetic retinopathy, which rendered me blind for 3 months.
Wow.
I did eventually start dialysis for a 4-year time period.
And that's pretty exhausting too, isn't it?
It is. It's physically demanding. Even though you just sit there for 4 hours, it is a big strain on your heart. And many people don't understand that dialysis patients, most of them actually die from heart disease rather than kidney failure.
I didn't know that.
So it's a lot of facts and things that people really don't know about kidney disease. Fortunately, I also received a below-the-knee amputation of my right leg in 2014.
And that's I would think that would be mentally just difficult to deal with.
And at that time it was I was trying to figure out why I was going through all these health issues. Of course, it was a diabetes, but it's a philosophical question: why me?
Right.
But then I had to understand why not me. I was the person to really explain to people and really make people understand that health is wealth. Prevention is really the key that we have to, experience to know that we don't have to go through any of the diseases: diabetes, hypertension, kidney failure. Most of these diseases today are preventable, but we just don't know or have the information to actually prevent them. So this is my mission. And I received the kidney transplant July 24th of this past year.
Oh, wow.
So it's going great. And
you look good.
I appreciate it.
And you said you feel good.
Yeah, I definitely feel great. And so I'm starting my mission. This is my purpose in life now. I'm still teaching, but just in a different avenue now.
Now you're doing public speaking and
motivational speaking, and that's where my company comes in, Progression Works LLC. I just started it maybe about 6 or 7 months ago.
Wow.
So it's in its infancy stages though, but I have a story to tell, and my main purpose is to really expand the realm of possibilities for my clients. And
yeah, you sure do have a story to tell, Idris. I was going to say, if people look at you and you're so positive and you look great, and just hearing your story, all that you've gone through, and and you're moving forward. I like what you said. You said there are 2 factors that determine your outcome. One is positivity, and the other is progression, because it's a journey.
Right.
And progress is a process.
Correct.
I love that.
We definitely have to understand that life moves forward. There are many things that happened in your past that you may, regret or you may not be happy with, but, there's always a chance for you to improve on your situation. And no matter what you go through in life, it's a difference between free will and fate. You can choose to do anything in life, but you'll ultimately end up at your fate. So it depends on if you handle it positively or negatively.
Right.
And that really depends on the outcome of the situation.
Right. There's the Chinese proverb that says, fate is in one hand, but your other hand is what you do with it.
Correct.
So you still have that control. You still have decisions to make. So, okay, so last week you had a health expo.
Yes.
But now you have something else coming up. Tell us about that.
Yes. Last week it was the first annual March 1st to March 4th Health Expo.
I like that, March 1st, March 4th. Yeah.
Yes. It's a campaign that I did to really bring people aware of National Kidney Awareness Month, which is this month in March.
Okay.
March 1st is get tested, whatever risk factors you have, get tested that particular day. March 2nd is eat good, live good. Make sure you sustain from eating processed or junk foods, just to have,
hard.
get acclimated.
Oh my goodness, that is so hard. Yeah.
March 3rd is get up and go. Any type of physical activity, we really suggest people do, especially people who are more sedentary lifestyles. And March 4th is
get up and walk. Walk down the street. Yeah.
And March 4th is get up and go. I'm sorry. It's all about you. Now, it's about you being responsible, about you being accountable for your own health, and not just your health, but your generation's health that's coming up. And so we're working with Paula Sherman. She's the site coordinator, administrator for the Carl Linder YMCA downtown.
Right.
So we're going to hold another health fair, health expo in April for organ and tissue donation awareness month. So we really want people to be aware that organ donation, it saves lives. And it's very important to, preserve lives. And if you can do it, definitely get tested, at least to know what your status is. So,
so it's April what?
Well, we don't have a particular day, but on my website, yes, www.progressionworksllc.com. It'll have all the information on there. And you can just go visit it and, check it out.
Okay, so that's going to be in April at the Linder Y downtown.
Yes, Carl Linder YMCA.
Carl Linder YMCA downtown on Lynn Street. And we'll make sure people connect to you through WLWT.com.
Definitely.
Okay. Any phone number you want to give out?
Yes, my personal email address is idrisg, that's spelled IDRISG. The number is 813@gmail.com. Or you can reach me at my phone number, 513-319-5053.
And give us that number again, Idris.
Sure, 513-319-5053.
Progression Works LLC. So you have taken your life journey and you're helping others. And I just think that is wonderful.
Okay, I very much appreciate it.
You have to come back and talk to us. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
All right, stick with us. We'll be back in a moment. We've got more health news for you. Hang in there. All right. Welcome back. Okay, I'm here talking with Dr. Keith Hollywood Melvin. You all know him, and you know Dr. Ahmad Attar with Mercy Health. And I just, I have to thank both of you for coming on. So, and let me just say, you both have been on numerous times, and every time you come on, I say to Dr. Attar, I'm going to make an appointment. I'm going to get that colonoscopy. I've said that for years, and I put it off because I was scared to death, but I kept saying, I'm going to do it. I finally had my colonoscopy. Woo! And it was, you know what? It was great. I mean, no pain. It's nothing. Yes. I don't know what we're all so afraid of. I mean, it was just nothing. I mean, it was really a really positive experience. So welcome both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes, I don't know. I don't know which one we should talk about first. Maybe we'll talk, it's colorectal cancer month, I understand. And
correct.
So, and Dr. Attar, I really like the fact that you brought me in for a consultation first. We talked, before the appointment. You let me know what was going to happen. And one thing that Idris said that really made me think about you, because he said, we eat too much processed food. And I said to Dr. Attar, why is there so much cancer in this area? And he said, just go up and down I-71 and see all these restaurants with processed food, and that's what we're doing. We need to stop.
Well, there's no question about it, Jan. And I think, first of all, we have to be proactive in the way we're doing everything. And when you talk about colon cancer, first of all, there's over 140,000 new cases every year, and over 50,000 people will die.
Oh, wow.
But certainly since the development of the colonoscopy, people are now having colon cancer, but they're surviving.
Right.
And yes, there's going to be some, it'll be a while before we can stop the progression of all the fast foods and so forth. And people in America don't exercise like they used to,
right.
or like they should. And so in terms of preventing the cancers now, that's just a long way down the road, I think. We're still working, trying to get there. But what we have to do is increase awareness for people so that they understand that by screening and doing the things that they should do, if you are diagnosed with cancer, you're diagnosed early. And you know, that's the piece
and
that I've
treatable.
been pushing. Yes, it's
yeah.
treatable and curable.
Right.
Certainly, you know.
And both of us are cancer survivors.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you know, and we survived because we were screened and did the proper screening process and did it when we were supposed to. People have fears of the cancers, but they also have fear of the diagnostic process, and I think it's a shame because they really have fear of the unknown, like fear always is.
Well, you know, that's where I was. I mean, until I came in and talked to Dr. Attar, and just, you know, you being here and me interviewing you, and Dr. Melvin said you do colonoscopies for him, for his family, also for Idris, who was just here, for Jeff Moran, for all of us. And I thought, you know, why am I not just making this phone call? Because, you know, my doctor, Dr. Schaefer, said every year when I go for my annual, did you get your colonoscopy? No. So, you know, so why are we so afraid of this?
Well, I think people are not educated enough to know that colonoscopy is very simple, very easy. It really is painless.
Totally painless.
With today's, you know, the anesthetics we give, the sedation, you feel nothing with the procedure, and people just get scared of it. You know, many people tell me to get ready for procedure is worse than the procedure.
Right.
And as you know, you felt nothing with the procedure. You know, very simple. What involved that go on liquid diet the day before, get ready, come to the hospital, we give you sedation, you sleep, we do the colonoscopy. If you find a polyp, we remove it.
Right.
Now, polyp is a lesion that can lead to colon cancer.
Right.
And often polyps do not cause any symptoms, so we look for them.
Right.
We take them out, protect you from colon cancer. Very
That's
simple.
Fantastic.
Very
yeah.
simple.
And I was going to say, so what happens the day before? I mean, it's really kind of funny though, but you're just cleaning out your body. You know, I mean, you just have, and it's really kind of a good feeling to get all that stuff out. You know, I mean, it's not a pretty thing, but I mean, you just clean out and you feel pretty good. You lose a little bit of weight too.
Well, you know,
Right.
people are always talking about doing colon cleansings and so forth.
Right.
And I agree with you, Jan. There's no question about it. One thing for sure is when you've done the preparation for a colonoscopy, after it's done, you know for sure that you're starting over at the beginning.
Starting fresh, yeah.
Fresh.
It's good for your body. Well, we've got some
Correct.
photos. Let's look at these photos, and Dr. Attar or Dr. Melvin, just explain what it is we're seeing here.
Well, I think what you look at that is part of the colon, and there is a little small lesion on the left side, which is an early polyp. And that polyp, as it expands, it penetrates through the colon and becomes cancer. It penetrates further, become larger, and then goes all the way to the body. So from stage 1, 2, 3, and 4, stage 1 is curable, stage 2 almost curable, stage 3 50-50, stage 4 very difficult to cure.
So get it early. Get
Get
that
it
polyp
early.
out.
So before, if you see, here is a polyp, start as a polyp, and the polyp is a growth. That growth normally is in the lumen of the colon attached to the wall. If we remove it in that stage, we protect colon cancer from happening. So what really happened is that polyp sit there and grow, and then later it's going to invade the colon, go all the way to the body, and kill you.
Wow, that's pretty deep. That's pretty blunt right there. Okay, so we need to get in here and get those things out of there, right?
Correct.
So
Correct.
yeah. So what do we do? I mean, what do you recommend that people do in terms of prevention?
Well, I think what we need to do, colonoscopy is the single most important tool to prevent colon cancer. People have no symptoms. It starts as a polyp. Polyp is benign growth. Do colonoscopy, you find the polyp, you remove it, you prevent colon cancer. Now, as far, you know, lifestyle, you know, obviously people should eat less red meat, high fiber diet, exercise program, and maintain normal weight. The study have shown that the higher the red meat in the diet, the higher the risk of colon cancer.
Really?
So, yes. So we, you know, the study that shown that you should probably eat no more than 3 meals a month of red meat.
Oh,
So your
wow.
risk remain an average risk, right? Now the fiber is very important. The high fiber diet is very important, and also protect people from getting also breast cancer. There's a relationship between the weight and the colon cancer and breast cancer. So if you maintain normal weight, you eat a lot of fibers, less red meat, you lower the risk of colon cancer and also the breast cancer as well.
And you know what? And I know you're about to, Dr. Melvin's about to weigh in on that. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to be right back. Stick with us. Okay, I just want to show you all this article. It's in the Cincinnati Herald, so some promotion here going on, but it's this week's Herald, and Dr. Melvin is in here and talking about colorectal cancer, really, really important. And also on the front page is an article from Black Health Matters. I don't know if we can get a picture of that. And the National Medical Association is meeting as we speak. I think they're meeting this week in Washington, and they are really putting an emphasis on exercise. So those are, we want to make sure people read those two articles and get healthy. But you were about to mention a study about 20 to 40-year-olds.
Yes, Jan. An interesting study recently published showed that in the African American community, 20 to 40-year-olds were developing colon cancer. Now that's interesting because where is that coming from? Dr. Attar just alluded to the fact that cancer in general in the colon probably has to do with diet, exercise, and so forth.
Right, because 20 to 40, that's young.
20 to 40-year-olds who will be under the radar screen and will have colon cancer with nobody ever even considering it. And even your insurance will say if you wanted to do a colonoscopy on a 37-year-old, the insurance company would probably deny that and not want to pay for it.
And say it's not necessary.
It's not necessary.
Well, why are these young people getting an increased rate of colon cancer?
Well, certainly the obesity issue is at the top of the list. And how they're eating and the lack of exercise. You grew up, Jan, in the 60s and 70s, used to do jump rope, double dutch, and so forth. Have you ever seen anybody doing double dutch except at the contest?
Right,
no
you rarely
one's
even see kids outside playing. I have to push our kids, like, get outside.
When have you seen a kid riding a bike?
Right.
Or anything? None of these things. And so I think that
everybody's
clearly,
on the computers.
Absolutely. Clearly it has to do with the lifestyle in our community.
Right.
And I hate to have to say that that study just happened to focus on African Americans, but I would venture to say it's in most of the communities across the spectrum. But I think what we have to do is to, again, I mentioned too, we have to understand what the family history is. And if you've had colon cancer in your family, parents, brothers and sisters and so forth, that you're at risk. And I think just knowing that.
And you were saying a lot of people just don't know their family history.
Have no idea.
We don't talk about it.
No idea about family history.
Yeah.
Even our generation, the baby boomer generation, still doesn't really know what the family history was.
It was kind of taboo to talk about cancer, though. I just remember growing up because my grandfather had cancer.
Yes.
And I was little, and no one really said that until we were older. It's like, oh, is that what happened?
Yes.
I mean, people just kind of, it was very hush-hush.
Now, we do have access to health care. It's a little better. People talk about Obamacare, but it has allowed and provided for insurance for a number of people who were not getting health screenings because they didn't have the opportunity and it was not accessible. So we do have more opportunities. But still, Jan, the problem that we have in our community is still an awareness issue. People just aren't aware of the fact that they should be checked for these things. They're 50 years old and still haven't had a colonoscopy. Guys are 35, 40, and 45 years old. They still have not had the prostate checked. And women haven't had a breast mammogram.
A mammogram, right. So let's fast forward to the prostate cancer issue, because that's something you went through.
Yes.
And you were saying you were asymptomatic, weren't you?
I was completely asymptomatic, and people still want to know, even for colon cancer, they want to ask you what the symptoms are. Well, yes, the symptoms may be bleeding, abdominal pain, and so forth.
But that's when you're advanced, right?
Well,
you don't want to wait for that.
He just showed you the pathologic diagram and showed you where you would be be once you start having bleeding. The polyps are a lot larger.
So you can have polyps, you can have cancer and not know it.
Yes.
So you really need to be checked.
You also, just in terms of colon cancer, you have to make sure that you're aware of changes in your bowel habits. You know, everyone has their own habit that they go every morning or they go every other day or what have you. If you're having constipation, if you're having diarrhea, you may or may not see any blood, abdominal pain and so forth. I think you have to make sure that you mention that to the doctor. First of all, you have to go to the doctor so that you can mention it. Or mention it at least to your spouse or your significant other, and maybe they'll encourage you to go to the doctor.
Right. I guess it's just scary, but you know, once you go through it, there's nothing to be afraid of. And that's just a message we have to get out.
That's correct.
So, and I'm guilty of that too. Correct. I sat here interview after interview saying, I'm going to call you, Dr. Attar, and it took me several years actually to make that phone call, and that's ridiculous.
And it was nothing. I'm glad you did. It was simple. I would like to add, Dr. Melvin said, there's some study, look at Japanese and Americans. Japanese who have very low risk of colon cancer, when they come to the United States, the risk goes up, but remain less than average Americans. When Americans go to Japan, the risk of colon cancer decrease, but remain a little bit higher than average Japanese. So they indicate these genetic factors, also environmental and dietetic nutritional factors.
Right. So diet is something we can control. Diet and exercise are two things we can do something about.
Exactly.
Okay, Jeff is saying we've got to go. You have to come back. Thank you so much,
Anytime.
Dr. Melvin, Dr. Attar.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank
stick
you.
with us. We'll be back in just a moment. We've got to Michael Bobo with some community events.
First up, we have 100 Boots on the Ground for Hezekiah McNeil, Saturday, March 19th from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. at the New Vision United Methodist Church, located at 4400 Reading Road. For more information, call 604-2483. Next, Withrow Alumni Association presents the second annual Who's Who Gala, Sunday, April 10th from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. at the Redmore, located at 3187 Linwood Avenue. For more information and tickets, call 235-7736. Last is the 11th annual Lighting the Way Scholarship Fundraiser and Gala with a silent auction, live auction, along with live music, Sunday, April 10th from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. at Prime 47 Cincinnati, located at 580 Walnut Street. For more information, call 772-5437.
I was going to say, Hezekiah McNeil is just a fantastic, fantastic singer who had a stroke and really needs some medical help. So please come out and support him March 19th. Have a great week. Stay safe, stay positive.